Hey everybody, welcome back to Math in Minutes. We're going to work on our practice. This is what we worked on yesterday, which is adding and subtracting mixed numbers. And our previous video talked about the vocabulary of a mixed number, so I'm not going to do that now. So basically what the students had to do is they had to add or subtract mixed numbers, and these are all with like denominators. In fourth grade, we do things with like denominators. So we have 1 4/9 plus 3 3/9. And what the students have to do is they have to add the fractions first because they're on the right, and then they add the whole numbers. So one of the strategies I tried to help students do is to implore going to separating them, because a lot of times we get confused, but now some students do forget those whole numbers. So if that doesn't work for you, don't separate it. But you could separate it into two separate problems and look at them as two separate entities and then bring it back together. So here I have my denominators the same. That's 9th, and the children do not have trouble with this. This is something that they're really good at doing. 4 plus 3 is 7, so 7/9 is my fraction. 5 plus 3 is 8, and then I just bring my pieces together. That's 8 and 7/9. So that's adding mixed numbers. Now let's talk about adding mixed numbers where you have to regroup. For example, 3 and 3, 6, plus 2 and 5, 6. So again, you could separate it out and then bring your answers together. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this right now. I'm going to just put it like this vertically. But we still start with our right side. So my denominator stays the same. 3 plus 5 is 8. 3 plus 2 is 5. So I come up with this answer 8 and 5, 6. The children were told that you cannot have a mixed number with a fraction greater than 1. Cannot have a mixed number with a fraction greater than 1 as your final answer. And that's only as your final answer. There will be times where the children will actually have to manipulate a number to make it look like this in order to do subtraction, but we'll get to that lesson. So we cannot have this. So what we have to do is we could group it out. So we could take 8, 6, and we have to change 8, 6. We're going to leave 5 alone for right now. We're going to change 8, 6 into a mixed number using the number line for this one. And again, the children have their choice. Oh, it should be 6, not 8. And then 8, 6, and then 4, 6 is in the middle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right, we know that these are all over 8, so I'll do this real quick to be snappy. So I'm looking for 6. My 6, 6 is my whole. I did it 8 several times. There we go. 6, 6 is my whole, and I'm going to count how many jumps to get to 8, 6. 1 and 2, so it's 1 whole. 2 jumps for my numerator, and 6 for my denominator. So now this fraction greater than 1 is 1 and 2, 6. Now I must add this and my whole number together. So 5 plus 1 and 2, 6 equals 2, 6, because we add our fractions first, and then 5 plus 1 is 6. So this is the answer to adding with regrouping required. We also worked on, this is subtracting. Now the subtracting lesson that we worked on yesterday was just subtracting with just simple subtracting. Today's lesson required regrouping. So I'm going to put these two together. So here we have 5 and 3/8 minus 4 and 2/8. It applies the same way as you do any type of subtracting. You start with the numbers on the right, which for us is our fractions. So 3/8 minus 2/8 equals 1/8. That's my fraction. And then I move to my whole numbers. 5 minus 4 equals 1. And then I combine these two together. 1 and 1/8. So that's how we would handle this. Now today what we worked on was regrouping with subtraction in order to complete the task. And there were two strategies that we showed the students, so I want to show you that. The first one was regrouping to a fraction. Regrouping to fraction whole. And the other one was renaming to a fraction greater than 1, and then converting. Then renaming to a mixed number. All right, so grouping to a fraction greater than 1. So let's say we have 4 and 3/7 minus 2 and 6/7. Again, we look at our fractions first, and I cannot take 6/7 away from 3/7. So what I have to do is I have to look at this number, and I have to rename this by taking apart the 4 and making it a 3 plus 1, because I only need one whole number, and then plus 3/7. These are equivalent. So 4 and 3/7 is equal to 3 plus 1 plus 3/7. I will then regroup this into a fraction. My fraction is 7, so it's 7/7. So it's 3 plus 7/7 plus 3/7. These are all still equivalent. They equal the same thing. Now this becomes, I combine my fractions, 10/7, 3 and 10/7. Now I can do my subtraction. 3 and 10/7 minus 2 and 6/7. I go to my fractions first. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7th is the denominator, and 3 minus 2 is 1. So the answer is 1 and 4/7. So this is regrouping with a fraction whole. Now we're going to talk about renaming with a fraction greater than 1, and then renaming back to a mixed number. So 3 and 9/10 minus, let's make that 6/10 minus 2 and 9/10. Again, I cannot take 9 away from 6, so I'm going to change this into a fraction greater than 1. So 3 times 10 is 30, plus 6 is 36/10, minus 2 times 10 is 20, plus 9, which is 29/10. My denominator stays the same. And 36 minus 29 is 4 and 9. That makes 13/10. So now, once I have 13/10, I need to rename it into a mixed number, so minus a whole, which equals 3/10. So 1 whole and 3/10. Thanks for watching, everybody. This was a combination of the last 4 days worth of lessons. Hopes this helped.